everybody, and welcome to the Fandom Flux podcast, episode 48. 48.
Yeah,
48.
that's it.
Looking at my notes, 48. Yes, 48. As always, I am your host, KCW, and with me we have Kenchi.
Hi, I'm Kenchi618, and you can bounce a quarter off my abs.
I got absolutely nothing about that, except
I heard half of it.
bounce
maybe.
a quarter off my ass. That's all I got from that moment.
That's all I heard.
Is that an invitation, or...?
Huh?
He said abs. Just bounce a quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Oh, this is gonna go so well. I can't even hear whatever Kenchi's saying.
Oh, man.
It's not my fault.
It's like immediately after we started recording, his fucking connection went all to shit.
yup.
Don't say that.
To make absolutely sure that the audience is clear on this, Ken's
They
internet is
don't
down
need to
for
know this.
reasons.
They don't need to
That's
know
why I
this.
said for reasons. And so he is using his phone
'Cause I'm
as a
poor.
Wi-Fi hotspot.
'Cause I'm poor.
So this is gonna go good.
Continue with the introductions. Damn it.
Okay. And we have Zero.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? They're not going to answer me.
I would hope not. That's just creepy.
They could answer you.
They can answer me in the comments, but nobody.
Everybody answer Zero in the comments.
No
No one's gonna do that.
one's going to do it.
Fuck Zero, he sucks. Slicer.
Hello. Am I supposed to give a long thing because I'm the last person? I was unprepared.
I would like to know what a long intro from you would sound like, to be honest. You've never done one.
Yeah, I can't think of one on the spot. Sorry.
Well, that was underwhelming. Alright.
Yeah.
So as usual, the first thing we're doing is what we're doing. So what are we doing? Zero.
You said I suck.
I did.
Are you
Enough.
currently sucking? Is that what you're doing right now?
No.
Are you trying that fucking thing where you sort of roll backwards and try and,
No.
Ah!
Okay.
But he said there's nobody home. You could try it if you wanted to.
So, right, so this week, I guess I'll start off with, Casey sent me and Slicer an email saying, you guys forgot to send me your audio. It was all mad at us. But I'd sent him my audio the previous day in Skype at like 6 p.m. And I was just laughing when I got that email. I'm like, really? Because like exactly 1 minute later, he thanked me for the audio in Skype.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I have the Skype
No, you
log right
didn't.
here. I sent it to you. For me, I can show you, right? I can, like, literally, like, 7 days. I sent
Was
it
it a
Wednesday.
conversation with you, or was it the
I sent
conversation?
I sent the audio to you 6:24 p.m. on Wednesday, August 13th.
No, you didn't. I have not received anything from you except for yesterday, when you sent me again.
You just weren't online at the time.
I still didn't receive it.
I have it right here. Like it show.
I don't, and that's kind of the important part.
Gosh darn it! Darn you, Skype, not sending things.
That is why I email it. Email.
Ken has a point.
If you don't have it, I'm gonna resend it because
I do have it now. You literally all have my email. You should, you know, just do that instead. It's easier.
But I have it in quotations there in Skype. So see, it was sent August 13th. Just didn't get it online. So screw you.
Are we gonna start on what you did this week or what?
Yeah. All right. So
This was really important to him, okay?
it was important to me.
Right.
I'm innocent. So I started playing Dark Souls 1 again.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And this time I'm doing a strength build, which I've never done in any Souls game before.
Ooh.
They're fun
Never
in Dark
wanna do-
Souls 1.
Why
Have
is
fun in Dark Souls
everything
2.
so easy?
That's why they're fun. Everything dies in one hit.
Everything dies. I got like the Black Knight sword up to +5 now. So it's a base damage of 330.
Yeah, that'll carry you through pretty much the entire game, actually.
Yeah. Everything dies. It was scary how effective that was. And I went through the game previously as a thief character.
Wow.
So I went from a thief character to a strength character. I'm like, why is this so easy? It should not be this easy. The strength people who are strength characters have no right to have it this easy. I was expecting it to be harder.
It does get pretty difficult later on, because eventually the damage output of the enemies eclipses what you can protect against. Although that doesn't really hit you very hard until New Game Plus. Then you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm switching it over more to an Artorias build, though.
Ah, that's fun.
Because I want to be able to freaking use the Abyss Greatsword.
That
Okay.
special move is awesome. Like the little
For bonus
somersault you do,
cosplay
it's
points, you
great.
have to do it all one-handed.
I want to freaking... I wish I had the Artorias armor and then the Greatsword from Dark Souls 2, because that looks exactly like Guts' sword from Berserk.
Yeah.
And the armor looks like I just want to be Guts from Berserk in Dark Souls. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Look up a build. The Guts builds are really popular, actually.
Mm.
Because it's freaking amazing.
The guy that created it was a fan.
Mm. Yeah, I heard that. Also this week, so I got a controller for my computer so I can actually do things with some sort of skill. And I beat Castle Crashers.
With which character?
Red Knight. I just put everything to magic and then just destroyed everything.
Oh, okay.
Because that lightning attack is just murder on the faces of every single boss in the entire game.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. It's pretty overpowered.
Like, it's just continuous damage, and the more you upgrade your magic, the longer you can just deal continuous damage. And you just level up so fast because the more you hit, the more you deal, the more experience you get, and you hit many times with that.
So, I know what I'm doing after we finish recording this.
So, yeah, I did that. Just to, go through the game, at least know what I can expect, and maybe point things out to the audience if they haven't seen anything yet. Because I feel like doing some sort of maybe spreading a little bit of information to people. 'Cause it seems like a nice thing to do when you're doing a let's play.
The game's like 8 years old, dude.
I know.
Yeah, but
I'll feel
that's old enough that people forget about it. So
Yeah.
you can remind them.
I guess.
so if they're gonna play through with us or whatever they're doing, I don't know. I'm not you, audience. I can't.
For this. Yeah, they play for like 20 minutes every week. Not even that, because I'm not releasing them every week.
Wouldn't that be funny if somebody did that? Like, I would give that person a high five, probably some chocolate.
Speaking of screw you,
Who's a good
Casey,
boy?
cut it off
Who's a good
at
boy?
the moment.
You were saying, Slicer?
You cut off the episode right before the good stuff happens.
No, that was-
I guess
that was
it's
where
kinda
I cut the
boring,
first time.
actually,
Yeah.
The second episode's still coming.
Which episode are we talking about?
The first episode of Castle Crashers that just came
That
out.
was really
Oh.
laggy.
It was. I was
Like-
considering just recording myself as well.
Like,
So we
it
have a
wasn't
backup.
it was nowhere near as laggy on my screen. So I blame Casey.
I blame the servers.
Alright. So also...
I blame what's intercontinental stuff, internet streamy stuff, play game thingy
Alright.
do what,
It's okay. It's okay.
that stuff.
So, also this week, I was working 4 days this week, just one day after another, and now I'm finally off. But yesterday, my boss's boss came in. All right, because we were doing a sort of inspection thing. It's like weekly.
Yep.
So he comes in, And I get called up to the front. He's like, you have too much chicken up here. And one of the guys up front was like, yeah, I called that chicken to be made. So, boom, somebody else's fault. Then later he calls me over again. He's like, you got too much grill prep in there. I'm like, I didn't make that grill prep. That was the morning guy. Boom! I didn't get in trouble. Everybody else screwed up. And I felt good about myself.
Convenient when you have scapegoats like that.
It really is what happened. They were messing up, and I was about to be blamed. But it was not my fault. And I feel good about myself. And now I finally have, like, a couple days off, so I can finally get back into writing, because all Friday I have off. So, yeah. I was like a yeah and a yay at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounded special.
I'm a little.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit excited here, okay? Gosh darn
Just
it.
a little bit special.
Don't make fun of me. Alright, that's it for my week. I don't think I've did anything else of any significance or insignificance or whatever.
Oh. Sisa?
Sure. I haven't been catching. Last week I had two things that I forgot to mention for my week, which is good because I'm kind of lacking this week. But first thing, in SAO, the BOB started. It's Bullets of Blood or something like that. What is it?
It's the Bullet of Bullets. That's
Something.
basically what
It's
it
a
is.
big tournament thing. It's kind of the whole
Bob.
point of the show.
Yeah, it's called the
And-
Bob.
Yeah, and Kirito has his first fight, and I'm thinking it's cool, but I mean, how are they going to keep that interesting? I mean, they just showed the extent of the combat. I mean, he's going to fire a few shots to unsteady somebody, then get close, and then kill them. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that basically is. I'm hoping they do a montage of just the next things. Really, like, out of all the light novels, it could be 12 episodes. This one could be 12 episodes. Because, like, there is some stuff that happens outside of the game that's interesting. But inside, it's mostly... It kind of is montage-ish, where it's just like, okay, I beat this person with a sword. I'm moving up again. Moving up again. Moving up again. Final round! Final round.
As much as I love gun battles, they're not very interesting unless you're part of them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sports in that regard. Holy God, that's a bad comparison. Ugh, I feel dirty just saying that. Comparing gun battles to sports.
Yeah.
No,
Then again, I
sports
feel
can be
that way
fun to
about
watch, depending.
Well, if somebody's
watching
getting
football.
injured, then yeah, sure, it's fun. But
Yeah. That's why I like watching your football better than mine.
Wow, you are
I
awful
thought cricket
people.
injuries were more common than football injuries. Or American football.
Sorry?
I thought
He doesn't
cricket
watch
injuries
cricket.
were more common.
I don't watch cricket. Who the fuck watches cricket?
I don't know! It's the only British sport I
That
know.
was racist. That was
How
blatantly
about
racist.
football, you knob? You know, the real one.
Right.
Yeah, soccer.
I had a friend who was a big fan of NASCAR. He'd take me to the races, and then I would fall asleep, and then when somebody would crash, I would wake up and be like, whoa! And then I'd fall back asleep.
Ken,
That sounds
would you
better.
like to know what soccer is short for? Association Football.
Okay, cool.
Where's the R come from?
Because I care so much right now.
People can't pronounce it.
I care so hard. Can't you hear how much I totally care? That calling
So
soccer
Moving
offends you?
swiftly along, the next thing,
Classic.
I got the first impressions of an anime called, I'm gonna butcher this, Hitsugi no Chaika, translation being Coffin Princess.
Oh! I know that one.
That's a name.
Yeah.
I have read the manga for that.
Of course
Once
you have.
again, I knew it before it was cool.
Hipster Zero strikes again.
Yeah. Alright, so the premise of this is basically, anybody played a Dragon Quest game? Like,
Yeah.
series kind of...
Nope.
Before the series starts, they kill the big demon lord guy, and there's 8 famous heroes. and the titular character, the Coffin Princess, is supposedly his daughter, and she's collecting his body parts to give him an actual burial. The problem being, the guy was so powerful, his limbs or body parts that were chopped up can be used as batteries for like magical stuff. And it's kind of implied that they're basically the marker from Dead Space in a way. Kind of corruptive mental influence.
Yeah.
It's not great in that regard. But the one thing I really like about the series is the main characters are mercenaries. They don't dress it up. They're mercenaries. They live for war. And so when they steal an artifact, basically, one of the body parts, and the authorities just call them out on it, like, if this gets out, people are going to go to war again, and they're like, fuck yes.
We want that. We want more work. Yeah.
That just it's such a nice change of pace. I'm so sick of like pacifistic heroes now. It's just I want somebody to murder somebody else and then be okay with it.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Let's see. So that series, I'm definitely going to be watching the next episodes of that because I'm only 4 into it. So yeah, first impressions basically. Next thing, I don't know how long ago I started playing Demon's Souls, but I finally fucking beat it. Fuck yes! It was so satisfying, and I didn't use magic on that character, which is great because magic is beyond easy mode in that game. Well, as easy as you get in Demon's Souls. The game is really unbalanced, by the way, and it also has an area that is okay. Casey, how much do you hate Blighttown?
Yeah, I pretty much hate Blighttown. I spent
Now,
as little time as I could last time, so...
Imagine needing to go through Blighttown. Like, if that leech thing was a vital boss.
The leech thing?
Yeah, the thing that drops power within. Or has it below it, I guess. That little mini-boss thing.
Leech. That's not in Blighttown.
I don't mean the actual leech. I mean, there's this... just creature thing. It's latched onto something, and you gotta kill it to get the power within Miracle.
Yeah.
Not Miracle, Pyromancy.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if you... Okay, just imagine if you had to go through all of Blighttown.
Mm-hmm.
Now times that by 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's a level in Demon's Souls that is that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't want none, son.
No.
Yeah, no,
Nope.
I tiptoed through that entire level because I did not want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. If I had a GIF of Nope, I would be putting it up right now. I'm looking up for a Nope GIF right now because I need...
He needs to express his nope. Slicer,
Yeah.
you want to continue while
Yes,
Zero expresses his nope?
So, melee is hard in that game. Like, really hard. And I figured out the way to beat that system. Get really big armor, which barely does anything, and then get a big tower shield that weighs a shit ton of weight, but makes the rest of the game trivial, because you take no damage. The final boss had to hit me like 30 times just so I would need health to heal myself, and it was ridiculous. And so, yeah. That and it was interesting you mentioned the what is it, Dragon Slayer, the Guts uses, big slab of iron basically.
Yep.
I was using that. It's this blunted blade meant to break dragon bones, and it's just this slab of iron the size of a person, and you swing it around, and even if they're blocking or if you just use a single-handed attack, they go flying. Like, that's the end of combat.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just perfect.
The Dark Souls series has a bit of a weird thing with magic, it seems. Like, the first 2 games, like you said, it was kind of easy mode, and then in Dark Souls 2, they just recently nerfed the crap out of magic a little bit, didn't they?
They did? Really? I thought that was Miracles.
At least Miracles, but Miracles is kind of magic anyway.
Oh, okay.
Sorceries and Pyromancy is already not so great.
Yeah, unless you really devote yourself to it, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of stumped hard on those to make them less easy mode.
I know Pyromancy got hit really hard. I mean, I never felt it was overpowered in Dark Souls 1.
Pyromancy not so much because it had no range, but sorceries, yeah, that was easy. Easy.
Yeah. I didn't know the trick you could free aim your spells in Dark Souls 1, though, so I never really felt overpowered.
I don't think you can
I was
in
always
first
in
one.
range. Hey, you used
can't
the
in first
binoculars.
No, it doesn't work, I tried it.
Oh, alright. Yeah. Well. Next thing, most of my week was filled up by, I went into the nearest town, and I walked around and applied in every available place that was hiring. And, well, okay, I went in and asked, are you hiring? And if they said yes, I asked for an application. If they said no, I asked for an application anyway, so there would be one on file. And, actually, there were two places I wanted to work at. There's this place that it's I don't know, kind of this secondhand shop store. It's Mom's Crowded Closet, and they just sell everything. They take trade-ins and then they turn around and sell it, and the person who donates it or whatever gets a profit from it. And it's just one person that runs it, unfortunately, so I couldn't get a job there. I like knickknacks, but and the pawn shop. I wanted to work at the pawn shop they have there in town. And I walked into the pawn shop, and it's the guy's son working the register. And this kid's like 9. And I'm like, okay, this is either really good or really bad. Turns out it's really bad. The place is going to close down within, I don't know, 2 months or something. Business isn't great. And as you can expect, I suppose, from a small town that has a super Walmart in it for whatever reason. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
By the way, for the leaving applications, just so they have one on file thing.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No one has ever gotten back to me on that.
That never works.
Whatever.
Don't ever count on anything.
Yeah, the one I really want, though, is the midnight shift dispatcher at the sheriff's office. I would like to be a police officer someday, but I figured that'd be my foot in the door, supposedly. And that would work great for me, because it's all skills that I already have. I would just need, like, CPR training, I think it was, and that's on the job. They do that. Of course, being a police officer is not a desired position these days at the moment because of the stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this stuff, but we're not really a politics podcast, so...
I don't
Yeah,
wanna
let's
get
not.
into it.
Yeah,
I just got off of work dealing with that shit. I don't want to do it now.
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
the Daily Show wasn't on this week, so I don't know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Sorry.
And moving away from that, though, I figured out an idea for my for the final boss of my dagger run of Dark Souls that I've all but forgotten about. So I am going to do my damnedest to get that done this week or next
Does
week.
that mean you're actually going to start uploading it?
Yeah, sure. And it'll be done within 2 weeks. Hopefully, anyway. I'm not holding out a lot of hope. And last thing, again, I'm gonna butcher this name, but I started reading a manga called Murcielago.
Okay.
It's basically this. Okay, imagine the Ring, the chick from the Ring, the long black hair,
Yep.
pale skin, whatever, and then Alucard, and make them have sex and have a girl child that grows up to be this lanky badass. And she's a horrible, horrible criminal. And so she's hired by the government and paired up with someone else to hunt down other criminals, essentially. She's I forget what her actual title is. It's like the National Executor or something like that. And it's interesting. It's actually really good. I'm only 3 chapters into it, though, so don't really have a whole lot to say about it yet.
Murcielago is also a brand of Lamborghini.
Huh. That makes sense.
Googled it. Yeah, so...
I think that's my week. Yeah, it's looking like that's the end of my list.
Okay, Ken.
Okay.
Hey there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm right here. Shut up. Stop making fun of me. Alright, my week, aside from training, because I am 2 months out from doing the thing that I want to do that hurts people, I've been playing an ass load of Street Fighter Ultra. Let me get it
We're
right.
never gonna play that game.
Ultra Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, or whatever it is up to at this point. Because I'm hyper competitive, and that game is super competitive. And yes, you will all play it. You all have controllers. There's no excuse for you to not play it. You're scared.
How about not having the game? How about sucking at the game? How about not wanting to play the game?
You can learn to play the game.
Is the game free? Because, I mean...
I hate you all. Why don't you get some competitive spirit? The world wants to see you all lose. I
have competitive
Get me a
spirit.
job and I'll play you when I have money. I mean, I don't care if I get wrecked.
This from the
I
guy
just
that
finished
keeps
playing
losing
Dark
at
Souls. I'm used to getting
speedrunners.
my ass
Yes,
kicked.
I played speedrunners. I got my ass beat, but I never quit, did I?
No, neither did we, so who are you talking to?
Because you were winning.
It's besides the point.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah, you'd be winning at fucking Street Fighter, so you can't really say anything, can you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my logic.
Yes, I
I'll go with that.
can. I can say a lot of things, but I digress. I'm also obsessed with learning how to play the lead guitar part from the song from Muse called Knights of Sidonia. I really want to learn how to play that.
Yeah, that one. I know that one.
Yeah, I know part of how to do it, but not nearly enough, and it hurts my soul. I need to learn it.
You should try and learn Hysteria instead. I want to laugh when he looks at the tablature for fucking Hysteria. That's...
I don't... Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the hard thing that I'm already kind of aware of before jumping into something that I can't touch. So, other than that, let's see. Oh yeah, an like a writer that I was really kind of a fan of, kind of like quit and took all of his stuff down, and it made me sad inside.
That really
What
sucks.
were their username?
Gavedin, Gavedin. He did like crossovers, Naruto crossovers, like all kinds of stuff, and his stuff wasn't really groundbreaking, but it was good, you know. I mean, there was some meat to his stuff, and it was all pretty good, well written. And he stopped writing, which was fine. I totally dig that, but he took all of his stories down too, which kind of grinds my gears. But hey, that's his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a thing you like to see.
Yeah. Because I read back, because like some of his stuff had replay or reread value, even if he never got around to like getting very far at anything. It's just sad. Maybe sad. And that's pretty much all I've really done this week. If I'd done something else, I can't remember it. So.
Notes are handy.
Shut up. I don't take notes of things I do. If something important enough happens, I'm sure I'll remember it.
Sure. Alright, my week, I literally just, like, as of 3 hours ago, finished my, what was the exact name for it? Mandatory work activity. Yeah, I just finished
I thought it was like mandatory volunteer work or something retarded like that.
Nope, mandatory work activity. There is no volunteer in any of it,
I
which
know,
is
that's why I thought it was retarded.
appropriate, given what it actually is, but still a little bit eyebrow-raising as for the naming convention. But it's over. I'm done with it. I am now volunteering there as an actual volunteer and doing Friday mornings. So I don't have to do 6 hours a day without a lunch break every day. Just kind of nice.
Good.
Yeah. So, but that was good. And now I have a bunch of free time, which means I'm probably going to start doing stuff again, which, you know, nothing makes you appreciate free time like not having any free time.
And working for no money.
Yeah, and working for no money. So, yeah. But it's over. It's done with. It's cool.
Massa let him go. Massa says he's free now, Casey.
I I'm not going to make comments like that because it seems in very poor taste, but
Yeah,
okay, you feel free.
I can do that for
Little
two
bit.
reasons. I can do that for two reasons. One, because I don't care. Two, I'm
Hmm.
black. So
Hmm.
that's a that's a written in half excuse as it is.
Yeah, I pretty much don't get to make comments like that for the exact opposite reason of number 2 that you just gave. So, in other news, anyone familiar with Casey Hudson?
That does sound familiar.
Yeah.
He was the project lead on Knights of the Old Republic and on Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2
Oh, okay.
and Mass Effect 3.
So that's
yeah.
why.
And as of, I think it was either this week or last week, he has left BioWare. So, this is kind of a mixed bag as far as news goes. Because, see, Casey Hudson is not just someone from the new crowd that came in when EA took over and, started ruining everything. He was there right back at the beginning when they were doing fucking MDK and Baldur's Gate 2, which is still on my top 3 games ever. So, this guy was, one of the big talents for BioWare when they made really amazing games.
OG.
Yeah, and he was the project lead on probably their most, vaunted game ever, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. The original one, not the mediocre MMO. And he's left.
Right.
So, on the one hand, okay, the guy that was primarily responsible for Mass Effect 3 and how shitty it was has left BioWare. Yay, cause for celebration. That guy who apparently has no talent has left. On the other hand, that guy must have been really fucking talented to make like Knights of the Old Republic and work on Baldur's Gate 2, one of my top 3 favorite games of all time.
You can't hold one black mark against him like that.
You can't, especially considering that was after the EA thing, so he might have been
Pushed.
what's the
Strong arm.
Yeah. And
Corporate interference was involved, most likely.
yeah, and it's a difficult thing because I kind of do respect him because he's pretty damn good at what he does, but he also kind of gave away a little bit of his integrity. But on the other hand, it was give away his integrity or give away his job. So, yeah, can't really blame him for that. And he tried, at least. And now he's left, which, along with the BioWare doctors, as they're colloquially known, Greg Zeshuk and I forget the name of the other guy. He was the finance officer. I forget what his name is. Ray Muzica or something like that. They were the founders of BioWare, and they have since left as well. I think not long before Mass Effect 3 came out, and that's pretty much all of the big names that BioWare had. So, BioWare are pretty much literally a shell of their former selves. It's depressing. So,
That does kind of suck.
Like when you first brought this up, I was just going to comment, on how, when Inafune left Capcom, Mega Man sort of died down, and this is not just like one person leading Mass Effect. This is a bunch of people leading Mass Effect that have left Mass Effect, and so the whole franchise, if it continues to come out, because EA is going to obviously push for that, it's not going to be as quality.
No. So, I guess we'll see what they do, I guess, but I'm not really holding out hope for anything being of anything close to the quality that they used to put out. It's depressing.
That series is dead to me anyway, so I don't
Mm.
really care.
Consider Mass Effect 3 the swan song of one of the RPG giants of the industry. And isn't that just a kick in the teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. And, on a weirder note, so, when you read, I don't know, a fic or something, and it's in, like, say, an obviously Japanese-inspired setting, does anyone, like, say when they're reading dialogue, automatically translate it into Japanese?
No.
Sometimes.
Yes! Someone else does it!
Yeah.
I'm. Explain.
Like,
You already started. You better go through with it.
okay, I was reading a fic, I forget what it was called, it was by Neon Zangetsu, and it was surprisingly good, because he's historically not been amazing as a writer, but it was pretty decent, and I was reading it, and then I got to a line of dialogue, and I knew the Japanese translation for it, and it just immediately rolled through my head in character voice, in Japanese.
Yeah.
And I ended up stopping short and asking if Slicer if he did that too, and he's like, "No, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so is
Yeah.
that a weird thing?
I know a little bit of Japanese. Plus, there's also the stuff that I picked up from anime.
Yeah.
So when I'm reading something, and even if it's just something like some sort of new manga, sometimes when I'm hearing the voices, like kind of imagining it, they're speaking in Japanese, though I don't even know what they're saying most of the time. But cause
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know, it seems it fits.
If it was if Japanese was your first language and you were reading in English, yeah, sure, it's normal. Not here.
Zero, are we secretly Japanese and we didn't know?
My friends think I'm Asian because I squint, so maybe
Oh my god.
I squint too!
it all makes sense. Conspiracy.
Super racist.
You guys thought Jungle Children was bad? Seriously? This is what you say?
No, I'm not gonna lie. My friends, I actually did have some friends who thought I was actually Asian. That's not a lie. That's completely true. People thought my eyes were brown for the longest time, and they're green. That's how much I squint.
We're terrible people.
Yeah, you are.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's not me. It's everybody around me who's terrible. That's my justification.
Anyway, that's apparently what we've been doing, for better or worse.
Secret Asian man.
So, fun fact for you folks, there was no Bleach or Naruto this week. So,
Nope.
I don't
We
know how
got
much
no
my heart can
recaps.
take after that three-eyed bunny. Blob.
Yeah, that was something, alright.
The ever expanding.
please don't make me pull out the fucking Monty Python impression again.
Alright.
Anyway, yeah, so we have no recaps, because there's nothing to recap. So, we've just dumped a bunch of topics into the list, and we're just going to go through as many of them as we can. So, number one on the list so far is...
Don't.
Damn it! Alright, let me try that again. Number one on the topic list is... AI. Damn it, you guys suck. I wanted to do...
Fine.
You got
Fine.
it every week.
We're gonna do this once.
Once.
No, you ruined it now.
No. This is the fucking payoff. You better do it now.
Spoil sports. This is not payoff. This is petty payoff. It's not cool. I don't accept
What's
it.
the best you're gonna get? Beggars can't be choosers.
Alright, AI as a plot point this time. So we did AI as a mechanic and how terrible, 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 terrible it was, if done poorly. And now we're doing it as a plot point. So what I mean by AI as a plot point is actual artificial intelligences. Like, what was it? Asimov? The 3 laws of robotics and all that stuff? Yeah, I forget what they actually are, but just the concept of artificial intelligence and what it means for society and what it could lead to, and will it create a synthetic overthrowing humanity situation? Will the Geth destroy everybody even though they were apparently super nice guys and never hurt anyone ever? Ever, ever, ever. Fucking Mass Effect 3. Yeah, so examples, just to start it off. No, seriously, I'm asking for...
Okay, the AI from the
Oh.
Patriot AIs from Metal Gear.
Okay. Oh, that was the secret one running the government, right?
Yeah. The ones that were set
the
to run the
president
country.
from Fallout 3.
Yeah, I was about to say Fallout, just Fallout.
Yeah, and Mr. House counts too, doesn't he?
No, he was an actual person.
Oh, that's right. He was a brain. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't a brain, he was a person.
But he was more of
a
an
person.
emaciated skeleton, but yeah, pretty much.
Like, I want to, like, I'm trying to
Skynet.
think of it.
Skynet is a very obvious one,
Oh yeah.
but yes.
Yeah.
See, that's very much on the... Artificial intelligence will lead to the end of humanity because they will decide they are better and overthrow us.
Singularity. Yeah.
I kind of want to mention the animated Chobits.
Okay, you're gonna have to do a lot of explaining for that one because I'm not sure any of us have seen it.
Okay, so basically, Chobits takes place in sort of a future where people have these androids, which are basically kind of like personal computers, but they have like human forms ish. Like he has a friend who is a small little person who's their like little helper android, and he finds this on the way home. He finds this this girl, lying in a pile of trash bags, and carries her home, and this girl is basically an android with like her memory wiped, and she can only say like one word, like the word like chi, and it's kind of like a weird sort of relationship between him and this android, and it's kind of a whole we're not so different after all kind of thing for the most part.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Kind of undermines the whole Chobits system, though, if I remember right.
It's a good anime.
There was there was a line you shouldn't cross with them, but they kind of did.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was good, but there was a lot of whole AI and it's exploring the relationship between the humans and these androids and how they're going to interact.
We really would be remiss to not bring up probably most of our favorite example of this, possibly, Red vs. Blue. Did some pretty interesting things as far as AI is concerned.
I didn't hear what you said. What?
Red vs. Blue?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that was... Wow. That's definitely one, yeah.
Yeah. That show took a turn in Season 6. But for the better, as far as I'm concerned. So that brought up some weird things. So, started off to run it out, basic premise for what the AIs are in the Red vs. Blue universe, which is basically also the Halo universe. there are smart AIs and there are dumb AIs. Dumb AIs are just computer programs and they'll do what they're assigned to do and such and such and such, and they don't have a personality, they're just programs. Then there are smart AIs, which are copies of a person. And they are fully able to think and process everything just as a computer would, and just in the way that the human that they're based on would. So, advantages of both sides, really.
Mm-hmm.
And in Red vs. Blue, they were supposedly experimenting with one AI to see how it could help a soldier perform in the field, until they kind of went outside the bounds of their jurisdiction and decided to torture it into insanity so that its entire personality would fragment into pieces and then could be siphoned off into separate AI units.
AIs are expensive, though. I mean, come on. How else are you supposed to get new ones?
Actually, yeah, that's pretty much the justification. AIs are hella expensive to make, and they didn't want to waste more than one, so...
I just thought of a great example of AI, and it's in the SAO light novels.
Okay, before we get into something else, let's just... We'll get back to it, but let's not jump to another topic immediately.
Sorry. I just felt like mentioning it for later.
Yeah. We'll get back to it, I promise. So, torturing artificial intelligence and treating the mind of an artificial intelligence like a human mind in that they expect it to function in the same way and basically destroy itself in the same way. So, raising the question of would an artificial intelligence function in the same way as a human mind would, just because it's sort of kind of human mind? I mean, specifically in Red vs. Blue, it's based on a human mind, so there will be some similarities, but would an artificial intelligence behave like a regular sentient intelligence?
I don't actually know. It really depends on how heavily it's based off of a human and how much of it is mechanical calculations and stuff.
Like, to bring in another example, just for yes, we're going to get to a zero, I promise. The Geth from Mass Effect are pretty much not based on any other sentient existence. They are very alien and entirely synthetic, and their entire structure as a society is programs all built into one machine, and they run basically as consensus. So any decisions made are basically voted on unanimously by every program on a system.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely alien to anything any human would do, or any sapient being would do currently. So,
Sort of. I suppose there are comparisons, but nothing to really that extreme. I mean, usually you have a few different arguments for every decision, but I mean, you don't have, what is it, 1,084 for Legion alone?
1,183. Yes.
That's it.
I know that off the top of my head. I was really a fan of Mass Effect at one point. But yeah, we're losing people left and right for some reason in this conversation. Anyway, yeah, so that entire system of thinking is very alien from the way a human mind works, and in a sense, it's fragmented already, that way of thinking, so it wouldn't fracture the same way that a human mind would. Yeah, it's interesting, at the very least. Is Zero in the call currently?
I am in the call.
Okay, I'm just checking because there's a problem in Ken's line. Yeah, so you wanted to bring up your example?
Yeah, so Sword Art Online, in the light novels later on, and this isn't a real spoiler because this is just a main plot point, but basically, after everything that's happened, and Kirito wants to work with video games and everything, he signs up he gets basically in this program to test making a sort of a super advanced AI, an artificial soul called a Flux Light. Yeah. But so basically he puts himself into this world where every single person except for him is an AI. And it's really interesting what happens, because he, like, at first, when the first time he goes in, he's like, you know, normal. He's like one of them because he comes in as a kid, like living in that world. And they say you won't have any memory when you leave, right? But then he has to go back in, and this time he will remember everything. He goes in, and he's like, he recognizes these people, and the time in that world goes like I don't know, way faster than, I don't know what the exact rate is, but it goes way faster than the other world. So when he goes in, the last time these people saw him, he was a kid, but then he went all those years without him being there, and he's basically living in an AI world as the only human. It's just, he has to keep reminding himself these people are not real people. They're artificial.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting concept. And if SAO did a lot more of that and a lot less of damsel in distress Arsenal running away from tentacle monsters, I probably would have stuck with it.
That whole...
I'm not even kidding, that does sound really interesting.
Yeah, like... I like GGO personally a lot better. I feel like the whole ALO, the Alfheim Online thing that they did for that half of the first season, that's not my favorite arc by far. I liked the first arc, I liked GGO, and I liked this one that they're doing, which is spanning like several light novels. It's this one big arc, and it's fantastic. And so, because he's got all his experience from all the games he's been in as a sword master. So he's like got somebody who's like teaching him. He like overwrites the he like helps one of the AI overwrite the code that stops them from killing each other at one point. Which is really
Isn't that a really bad thing?
Well, there was a bad guy that was trying to kill him, so it's really cool to see how one person can influence that entire world like that.
Yeah.
It seems in that kind of situation or scenario that he would be the only one that could make major changes. Because they're running on specific algorithms and he's not.
Yeah, there's one other like, the whole purpose of this entire experiment was to create a true AI who could actually think and work like a human. So they have like one in there, and they send him in there. You have to find this AI because it went missing. Was one thing. Something along those lines. It's been a while since I actually read the light novels, but it's still going on, and it's just utterly fantastic, and you forget that, this isn't actually, real. It feels like you're reading a completely different story.
Does sound really interesting, and I'll probably come back to Sword Art Online when it gets to that bit. Otherwise, I'm not so interested.
I think you actually should give Gun Gale a try, because so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, Gun Gale is pretty good.
I mean, Kirito is kind of a little bit of a Mary Sue, as always.
As always.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'll probably give it a shot. On the flip side of Zero's example, I'm going to go back to Mass Effect just for a second, because there's something similar that happens in Mass Effect 2, one of the DLCs called Overlord. I don't know whether anyone's actually played it.
I have, yeah.
You've played it, yes. The game or the DLC? Just to clarify.
The DLC. That's the one with
Yeah.
the autistic kid turned into
Yeah. Basically, there's a scientist and his kid brother. And the kid brother is autistic, and I'll say idiot savant because I don't know the very specific medical term that would be a lot less offensive. But he is... I really hate to use this comparison, but the Rain Man style genius, where he is really good with calculations and can run them about as fast as a Geth platform can.
Ooh.
Which scientist Big Brother decides okay, this could be really useful to my research where I'm trying to find out a way to bridge the gap between Geth intelligence and human intelligence so that we can communicate and maybe control them. This goes badly, as one can imagine.
It goes fine at first, and then they think maybe his signal isn't powerful enough, so they hook him up to a bunch of machines.
They basically hook him up to the entire Geth network. To clarify, the entire Geth network is every Geth everywhere at once. The Geth can handle that because they're Geth, they are computers, they are artificial intelligence. They don't have brains that can go sploosh when you get hit with too much information at once. So that's basically trying to interface something human, something very singular and very simple, with something much greater and much bigger than itself. And that's something that probably only artificial intelligences could do, because it's a system designed for them and not for us. So that brings into question, at some point, would their systems be considered more important than ours? And thus we would get left by the wayside, as it were. It's kind of like the Terminator argument of eventually they will surpass us and they won't need us anymore. But more in the sense of they surpass us and the gap between us becomes so wide that they just don't understand why we were ever important in the first place if we just can't keep up.
I'm gonna smash my laptop.
I want to say it's because we have the spark of creativity, but no, robots can do that too.
Theoretically, depends on how deep into artificial intelligence you're going, I suppose.
No, we actually have robots today that can make complex pieces of music constantly.
Complex pieces of music is mathematics, not really creativity.
Yeah, I suppose. Still,
it's
not far off.
It's not that difficult to create a classical piece of music once you know all of the chord progressions and notes and melodies and such. Once you know all of that and how the melodies interact, you could do it pretty easily. Classical music is actually very, very simple. More modern stuff is a lot more difficult because you have to try and feel out mood when you're creating the music, so different note clashes cause different effects. Like, a lot of the time, going from on key to off key suddenly causes tension for people, for example.
Right.
And that trying to establish moods like that is a lot more difficult. So you might have artificial intelligence try that. I'm not sure it would be as successful if a human mind would try and come up with something like that, because they could experience the emotions themselves and understand it better. But I don't know. I have not actually heard about this stuff before. So
yeah, there's a video called "Humans Need Not Apply" on YouTube. I just saw it either. I don't sleep a whole lot recently, so time zones are weird. But I think it was yesterday.
Okay. And that's going in the link dump if I can find it. But yeah,
I'll get a link up. 1 second.
It's an interesting concept to play around with, is artificial intelligence. And mostly you're going to find it in sci-fi, obviously, but it's an interesting thing to play with, because it's actually kind of a big deal at this point, because it's becoming closer and closer to reality. How quickly is up for debate, but, you know, it's sort of a near future thing, like the space race was back in the day. And people were all excited because, oh, we're going into space, it's the final frontier, and let's all watch Star Trek and Star Wars together and stuff. And, you know, that was pretty great. Now we get AI, because that's also pretty great and interesting. So, fun stuff. Anyone got anything to add?
It's human nature to progress, but it's not always a good idea. Then again, I suppose we're not maliciously using it. It's just progression, and maybe it'll turn bad, maybe it won't.
Everything is maliciously used at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, you're right. Most robots like that being created are used to, or made, or at least funded by big companies so they can, have cheaper costs, I guess.
Hmm. Anyway,
That's depressing.
yeah. Any last comments anyone's got about AI? AI!
What does the A stand for?
Artificial.
What does the I stand for?
Intelligence. Thank you.
But what does
Thank
the
you.
A stand for?
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
playing along
no
for
problem.
once. Thank you. And not making it sound like
I
a
feel
damn
filthy.
pity party.
Anyway, do we have any tips for writing AI?
Writing AI. Oh, that's a question.
And my internet died again, I think.
Ooh.
Okay.
If you're gonna write AI, you want to write it. I find the best way to write AI, usually if you're going for a more machine-like approach, you want to make them more detached, if anything.
Yeah, numbers are king when it comes to computers. So,
Yeah, precise language, not wasting any words, not mincing words, straight to the point, and
Very
unemotional.
logical decisions.
Yeah.
That kind of
not
thing.
taking
Yeah.
any concern over double meanings.
Yeah.
They will say what they mean, and whether you interpret it a different way is your problem.
Yeah. Trying to use the most concise language in the most efficient way possible is the best way to put it. Yeah.
As long as they're not based off a human, they don't have that human filter, I suppose.
Yeah.
That they have to think through. So it's just pure robotics at that point.
Yeah. If there is a human filter, then things get dicey, but it depends on how...
If there is a human filter, like, for example, I'm going to bring up Red vs. Blue again just for the sheer hell of it. They did a recent episode, which is basically church the AI from the show. And it's his perspective on a fight that's about to go down. And they say it's like, 10 seconds before these bad guys blow open a door? And he's like, you have no idea how long 10 seconds is for me. And it goes through like a 4 or 5 minute sequence of him trying to figure out all of the best angles and best defense strategies and everything for his partner soldier person to
Catherine, I think, isn't it?
Carolina.
Or just-
But
That's it. Okay.
I was trying to spoil things, but thanks.
But that's old news. That was revealed at like the end of last season.
Not everyone that listens to this podcast has seen the show. In fact, I had to badger you into watching the bloody show, you nincompoop.
Yeah, but I'm weird, and I had already tried to watch it in the past, so I wasn't really keen on trying again.
Anyway, yeah, it's an example of how a human AI, if you'd like to use that term, might see things, and basically it's just how everyone else sees things, only hell of a lot faster
Yeah.
or slower. It's
Although
confusing.
that is a
Sorry.
great way to show how why the Spartans are so competent, the ones with AIs, because they have access to that.
Yeah. Halo as a series does some interesting things with AI a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. The games are kind of like, you can hack things, and I plug you into things, and you Deus Ex Machina them into working.
It's a thing
the books really expand on it.
It's a thing that Bungie really like to play with, is AI. They have their own system for what happens to smart AI as they get older, like they start to go a little bit insane, and it's called rampancy, and it's all that scene.
They think themselves to death. They have too much backup stored data, and it clogs stuff. It's like not being able to restart your computer ever.
Yeah, and they have a whole setup of stages for how a dumb AI could become a smart AI and a fully formed sentient personality based on exponential growth, basically. It's interesting stuff and an interesting perspective on it. But we're going to stop talking about AI because we've talked about it for like 20 minutes or more. So
it has been a while, yeah.
But it's been an interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it. Anyway. Berserk buttons is our next topic.
Mm.
Much, much simpler topic. But
You'd
berserk
think,
buttons.
but I mean, I have a lot of things I dislike about stories, but not a whole lot of things send me into a blind rage. Is what I would imply or assume the berserk button would specifically, yeah.
Something that would make you rage quit the story. To put it in super simple terms. Not necessarily super angry, but just fuck this story kind of thing.
If I ever go to a story and I go to the first chapter and it's a solid block of text, I am immediately closing out that story and I'm not even going to bother
Yeah.
reading it.
That's
There's
not even a berserk button. That's a you are a shit writer and you should learn to fucking paragraph, you dumbass.
If you can't paragraph, I will never read your story ever. Like that makes me angry. Because that means that you went through English class and then didn't learn anything at all.
Not necessarily. Perhaps they have not, in fact, gone through English class yet.
True.
There
There's
is
also
no
the
guarantee that
surprise
any
yaoi.
writer on FFnet is, in fact, over 11.
Yeah, but
When I was 11, I could break shit up. I knew a paragraph
Yeah,
structure
yeah.
when I was 11.
If you've at least read a story of anything, you would know to break your paragraphs up. Like it's not a hard concept to get, and that's what upsets me because you
Yeah.
see it everywhere. People are breaking up their paragraphs. So
Then again, maybe they're using the fucking FFnet story editor like Zero does.
hey, I do that and I break up my paragraphs.
Yeah, but shit. We're never gonna stop ribbing you about that, really. Using that thing to write?
Yeah, it's
Sure.
aside from the block of text, there's the surprise yaoi, unmarked. Suddenly, two dudes
Everyone's
going
favorite. Surprise, surprise, right in your eyes.
Happened to me, it was bad.
It's happened
was
to
at it.
not-
And
everybody.
guess what? Sirius and Remus, they're fucking right now.
I'm pretty sure that was said to be canon at one point, but yeah, I think I've mentioned the fucking Katekyo Hitman Reborn fic I read once, where it was like over 2 million words in total, 5 separate stories, big series, and then I'm in like halfway through the third part, and then hey, supporting male character number 2 and 3 are now giving each other handjobs for some reason. Okay.
Huh.
That's fine. If they swing that way, sure, go ahead, whatever, I don't care. And then all of a sudden the protagonist is fucking anything with a pulse. Or getting fucked by anything with a pulse.
Great.
Yeah, and it was oftentimes very graphic. Yeah, I didn't need to read that.
Not many people do.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm actually with you on that one, Slicer. If you're gonna have that in your story, please mark it down so that people can avoid it. If they don't want to just see dudes fucking dudes all the time. I mean, I get it, you like that, and we're okay with you liking that, but we don't, so we don't want to read it. Cool?
If there are no
Cool.
hints about it earlier in the story, and if you don't foreshadow it at all, then I think maybe it's probably your fault.
It was especially not foreshadowed because the protagonist was actually married to a woman in this story. 2, actually, if memory serves.
Alright.
Yeah. So, not entirely sure how that... Yeah, that story just really took a weird left turn at some point.
Maybe. Different writer. Different writer on the account.
I don't even know. Anyway,
Did you ever
Yeah.
ask? You should have asked.
I think this was before I even had an account on FFnet.
Wow.
When I was just
what was the
reading
other
things
one?
and saving things to my bookmarks.
Ah, man, that takes me back. Yeah. A character waking up from a coma. Like,
What?
it's the middle of a story and suddenly they wake up in bed and none of it happened.
Oh.
Uh,
dream
Fuck
sequence.
that plot device. Screw it. I hate it.
Sometimes it works. Life on Mars. The original.
No idea what that is.
I don't know whether he actually wakes up from the coma at the end. Life on Mars. Never heard of it?
Nope.
Basically, British cop he's chasing down a criminal or something, I think, and gets hit by a car, and he's implied to have been put in a coma, but the way he sees it, he is now all of a sudden in the 1970s, and is transferred into the station as the new detective inspector. And it gets weird, because a lot of the time it's pretty interesting plot and character stuff, like period 70s in Britain, which was a bad time in Britain, trust me. But it's a lot of that, and then he's sort of pseudo hallucinating because it's actually the real world coming into his imaginary world of the 70s, and he's got like people talking to him from his real life and things like that. And this is going all throughout the show, but I only watched it like 10 episodes in out of 16, so I don't know how it ended.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But it was really interesting and really well done how they carried it out. So
What was that space one? It was John Carter or something like that, I think.
space.
It was the guy he winds up on Mars, and because of the gravity difference, he can jump and he has super strength, and
Okay.
they made a movie out of it recently.
I think it is John Carter.
Okay, that one. I think one version of that actually had him in a coma, and he just when he was in it, or something he came in and out of, so it was like narcoleptic or something. And when he was asleep, he was on Mars, and when he wasn't, he was back. But I cannot remember if that was. That might actually be a fan fiction. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing about Mars is John Carter, absolutely, but I don't know anything about it because I've never seen the film.
Ah.
But yeah, it's not. It can be like everything can. It can be done well and it can be done poorly. But I'm not entirely opposed to the "it was all a dream" plot point,
I think what he's
as many people are.
I mean, I don't know
A lot
how
of
I feel
people
about it.
really hate it, but I'm okay with it because Wizard of Oz was interesting. Well, not interesting, but it was nice, kind of. It fit the message and the theme, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That plot device doesn't really bother me at all.
It's the thing about that plot device, and yes, we're still going to talk about this, is it's good for character development, but not character progression.
Yeah.
So if someone is suddenly in their dream world and they are suddenly everything's going better and their life is turning around and they get married and have kids and everything, and you're really rooting for this to stay going well for the character because it's so great, and then it was all a dream and none of it happened, and rooting for that character was absolutely pointless because none of the stuff that you were rooting for to keep going was ever happening in the first place. Why did I even watch this thing?
I don't know.
Whereas character development, the protagonist of whatever it is in this dream world and they learn something, and it's something that they can bring back to the real world and it makes a difference in their lives. That is a good use of the technique. That's what I'm going to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Any other ones? I had one just a second ago. I forget what it was. Oh, okay, I remember. In a big tense situation, like take for instance the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter. In the first task, I was just reading a fic this morning where it appeared that Harry just fainted in the first task. Like he was he was centering his mind occlumency stuff, and then he just blacked out. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. But no, it was actually he was focusing so hard. It was a different first task, and the transforming stage summoned a fist made of stone and just beat the shit out of him. So it cold clocked him when he was focusing, and he didn't. Yeah. So just situations like that where a character just faints, and it's so out of character, or it's just a huge letdown.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got one, I guess, but it's not really a berserk button. It's just something that really peeves me off for some reason. And it's really not going to help my status as fucking social justice warrior of the podcast, but in Fix, when you read it and women are constantly referred to as females.
Yeah, that can get a bit tiresome if they don't change up the vocabulary a little bit, but that's more of a grammar problem than a...
Not even that, though. It's the circumstances of the use of the word. It's detached.
Okay.
It's almost documentary style. The female attracts her mate and does stuff and things. It feels like how you would refer to animals rather than people.
I've not seen that.
Like, you watch a nature documentary.
No, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I just haven't seen that in the story.
You've never seen it?
I haven't.
I've seen it several times, and it annoys me quite a bit. Because, okay, I admit I read a lot of horror stories. Male fantasy, it happens. But the thing is, I still really like having the characters be characters rather than just objects.
Girl 1, Girl 2.
Is what it comes out as, basically, when you start doing that kind of style of reference, I suppose you could call it. And no. I like the characters, and I want the main character to end up with these characters because they're good characters.
They're awesome.
And they're interesting, and they're fun people, and awesome, and, you know, that's something I like. And they're characters I like, and I want everyone to be happy and stuff, and it's kind of meaningless if they're not really considered characters, even by the author. Just things for the protagonist to collect. Creepy. Anyway. I have a very specific brand of male fantasy, if you're understanding me.
Right.
As for Berserk Button, I know for me, I said earlier the whole block of text thing. But what really bothers me, I think probably more than that, because the first one is just automatic quit, but this one, it's just disappointing, is when a main character ends up not being unique. Like, say for example, typical harem protagonist.
Yeah.
Like that bothers me when the character's just like always following those rules when nobody tries to break those like unspoken rules.
Yeah, the harem protagonist always has to be mild mannered and
doormat,
acquiescing. Yes, a doormat is another way of putting it. Yeah, constantly being stepped on like a doormat.
Sometimes literally.
Constantly just
literally.
laying there and taking it like a doormat.
Yeah. Because you see, that bothers me when the main character's a doormat, too. Because that's just... Like, have a character
How is that
with
an
some
appealing
backbone.
How is that an appealing protagonist?
I don't know.
It's
The
an
point
appealing
of-
protagonist to... It's a relatable protagonist to the otakus of Japan who are scared of women.
Yeah, that's the only reason that type of character exists, is because he's easy to project upon. and that's it.
For people that are scared of women, and
Yeah,
most of them
for
will
their
read
fan
this harem
base,
story.
essentially.
So yeah.
But no, like it just whenever it's gotten to the point when wherever I find a manga where the main character is not the stereotypical hero or not the stereotypical protagonist, that I'm just like, boom, on board. This is fantastic. Because just by contrast alone, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give Sword Art Online that, at least. He's not exactly like every hero and not exactly like every fucking harem protagonist, even though he's technically both.
Yeah, he's technically got a girlfriend, though. So it's
I
not
thought
really
they were full on engaged at this point.
Yeah, the girlfriend, but not full on engaged, I don't think yet.
Plus the, 6 or 7 girls that are lusting after him, including his own cousin. So, just saying. But, yeah.
Yeah, but he already made his choice, so screw you guys.
What's wrong with the Tenchi
First girl
solution?
wins?
I mean, come on, just... yeah, all of them.
Anyway.
But
any more Berserk buttons? I don't think Ken's given one.
I don't really can't think of any off the top of my head that hasn't already been said. The surprise Yali one's the only one I could actually think of off the top of my head.
Oh,
and I can't really bring up grammar stuff because it's grammar stuff. I mean,
here's another thing. When you have a really awesome female character in a manga or anime or whatever, or fic or whatever, you have a really awesome female character, and yet the person your main character ends up with is like the small little waifish girl that nobody likes.
Harry
That
Potter.
bothers me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works, though. I mean, sometimes the big,
so-
awesome female or woman or whatever just isn't... They don't connect in
Naruto.
both personality or the writer's
Stop
mind
doing
or
that now.
even just their art style.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes you can see potential there. And, like, I don't want this character to end up with this girl who sits on the sidelines and does nothing the entirety of this entire story. Because it just doesn't make sense. So, yeah. That bothers me. I think that's about it, unless anybody else has anything to add.
No, I think I'm done. Though I didn't have much, I admit.
It's okay.
more than me.
Actually,
Apparently.
we had plenty for that one. It's been like half an hour for that topic.
No, another 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I am watching the clock, don't worry. Okay, Ken suggested we talk about running gags. So, I can't remember whether this is writing them or seeing them.
I mean,
I think it's writing them.
Either or. I wanted to see I want to hear what you guys thought about them in general and incorporating them or whatever.
I actually find it hard to incorporate them unless you plan to do them from the beginning of the story. And just have them, because incorporating the later you try to incorporate them, the worse it's gonna end up working.
Well, it depends on
Unless
how.
you
I
have-
think it depends on how early you bring them, you introduce it.
It depends. Yeah, with running gags, it requires a lot more planning than you might think. Because you want to have a gag that's reoccurring and familiar to people, but you want to have it appear, at points in the story where it makes sense.
Yeah.
And so you have to be like, okay, I can put it in here, I can put it in there. So I don't have a lot of running gags in my stories. I just
I
have
don't
gags.
use a lot of them.
What?
I don't use a lot of them.
Yeah. It's just, it's props to the people out there who have full-on teams to help them with their, stuff. Like freaking mangas and everything. Like, and everybody's always got, like, somebody who they can usually, they have a team of people. who they can plan things out with. But
But yes, they do have people that work with them to
yeah,
Because
plot things out and stuff.
I'm starting to think about it now, and I kind of have a lot of them. A lot of
Yeah.
them guys. I have at least one in every story.
I know I have like one, or I have at least one in one story I know of. Actually, two or three. I have 2 or 3 in M1 and 470, but not a lot, and you don't really need a lot.
I just
They're
think
funny,
they, I think when they're well done, they're kind of awesome. I have a soft spot for running gags.
Did you know that Naruto is not a pirate? That's the only one I can remember.
There's two in that story. The other one I kind of dropped.
Okay. I thought you meant in the canon series. I was really confused there for a second.
Yeah.
He's not a cowboy either. Like in that movie.
Apparently
I
he
beg
is
to
now.
differ.
Non-canon.
Hey, if the first film was canon, then all of them are canon.
Then it wasn't canon, but enough people treat it like it is in the fandom.
I told you, Slicer,
What?
that the first film wasn't canon. The fucking Land of Snow bullshit.
Who said that?
Enough people just treat it like it is. It's not. Yeah.
No, it's canon. I just don't know when it takes place. All the movies are canon, as far as I know.
Oh no, I don't believe that. No,
You just shattered Ken's world.
No, it didn't shatter our world. I'm just shaking my head in sorrow at why you think that.
Oh. Like it makes any difference for how shit the story is now.
Remember that one time Naruto got on a train?
Remember that one time that the train opened up and an airship came out of it or something?
Let's not even talk about the anachronistic technology here. That's a whole fucking can of worms that we don't need to open. That can wait until we get the next recap going, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my running gags are kind of blur the lines between running gag and character trait. I mean, it's quirks in personalities that I usually use often. And if I don't know, sometimes I depend on them if I need to. I don't know how to finish a scene or tie two things together, so I'd fall back on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that kind of counts because like Zoro, one of Zoro's from One Piece, one of Zoro's character traits is he has shit direction, which is awesome. Never goes to where he needs to be going, but always ends up fighting the second strongest person with whatever the place is.
Yep. And he can actually break time and space if he's going by the G5 arc into finding where he's not supposed to go. He can actually go down a hallway that goes in one direction and come out the other side somehow.
So he's Hibiki, I think, if I'm getting my names right, from Ranma. Apparently he's kind of infamous for that.
Ryoga?
One of them. Anyway, running gags, yeah. It's an easier line to cross from running gag into in-joke as well. Because, like, if you have a running gag, say, for example, in a game series, and you have a gag in one game, and you think, oh, we'll bring that back in the next game. It's all of a sudden you have an in-joke and not a running gag. Because most people won't have played your first game. Sorry. But, yeah, and that can happen with, like, I don't know, book series or fanfics sometimes as well. If you try and incorporate jokes into your work that have been in other works.
Yeah, don't do that.
You can do that. It's a bonus for
Not
fans,
without
but...
explaining it in that story first.
Mm.
Like, don't have a character that is in a lot of your series and then just bring them in and never explain it. And kind of expect everyone to know who they are. I've seen that a lot, and it doesn't work. Stop it.
Like, for example, I couldn't have brought in the guy with the bike from Fairly English Story into my story. That would make no sense. I forget who he was. He was just screaming anytime he saw Minato with a girl. It was kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, I get I know who you mean now.
Yeah.
That was a running gag.
It was a running
funny.
gag. It was a weird one, but it was a running gag. Not entirely sure who that was supposed to be or anything, but anyway. Yeah, so running gags are a thing that I don't use, but Ken does, and he's okay with them, I guess. I don't notice most of them. Apparently there's 2 in the story that I mentioned, and I only got 1. So.
Yeah, there's one. There's the Naruto's not a pirate one in Shinobi of the High Seas, and there's another one that I kind of dropped where he cannot get ramen anywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. But that one, if you're gonna have a running gag, I feel like at some point you need to have a big payoff.
I did kind of pay it off.
And you did do that at one point, and it was pretty damn perfect for how that would pay off. I gotta give you credit. That was pretty damn amazing.
I'm kind of proud of that one.
Yeah, that was good. Did you know that was coming, by the way?
Yes. I wanted that. I needed it.
Yeah, you were planning that for a while.
I don't want to spoil what it was, in case people that haven't read this start reading my stuff.
That story's a good one, by the way. People should read it, if they haven't.
Don't pimp my stuff.
I can do it,
Shameless
you can't, that's the thing.
plug.
I can plug you guys' stuff, and you guys can plug my stuff, but not... We can't plug our own stuff, that's the rule.
I don't think I can plug yours either, because I beta read for it. So
That's
it's like I'm
incidental.
associated by association, I guess.
It's not a big deal. You can plug my stuff, I'm okay with it. I make the
We've
rules.
said the word plugging stuff so many times that it's lost meaning for me and it's turned dirty. Thanks, brain. I needed that.
Butt plugs. Anyway.
Yeah.
No one said anything about butt.
My
That was
brain
all
did.
you.
That's where my brain instantly goes after saying it like 5 times.
Well, you are a
Butt,
dirty
butt,
human
butt,
being.
butt, 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 butt,
I'm
butt,
aware of
butt,
this.
butt, 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 butt.
Right. We good on
We're
this
all
topic? Or?
adults. We are all literally adults of legal age.
And
Yet we talk like children that just figured out
Yeah.
what butts are.
that
And
was
that
you.
it's a funny word to say. Anyway. Do we want to do the game stuff, or do we want to do an actual topic instead?
Kinda
Flip a
wanna
coin.
Do the game
Alright.
stuff?
I'll flip a coin.
Fine, flip a coin. I was trying to take charge here.
We're doing an actual topic. After the end, or getting back into into writing, or whatever. Let's do after the
Flip a
end.
coin again. Oh.
After the end, we'll do that one. So, after the end is the original story's over. So you start yours from there. It's
Yeah.
a pretty common fanfic idea.
That is a rough way to start.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna real quick just say, for most people in their heads, Bleach is over at Aizen.
yeah.
And that's kind of after the end, every fic that takes place after the Aizen fight. Because they're like, screw you, this Fullbring arc did not happen.
hmm
We're starting with an Ichigo that has no powers and has to deal with crap that comes his way.
In fact, logically, from that standpoint, anything that came after Aizen is in fact after the end, even if it's canon. So the Fullbring thing and the fucking Yuhlach, or whatever he's called,
Yeah.
is also after the end.
But
And thus kind of shit.
I've seen some really good after the end fics with that whole Bleach thing. Because with because after the Aizen, you leave it open for so many different things. Where
Crossovers
he has
mainly.
Yeah,
Lots
it's a
of
big.
crossovers.
That's a
lots of
big crossover
crossovers.
jump
So
spot.
many crossovers use that because that is a perfect point to cross things over with Bleach.
Yep.
Because he's already an experienced swordsman. He doesn't have power, so he can get stronger.
He's a blank slate.
Although
pretty
that you
much.
can easily have him just get them back. It's not
Yeah.
much of a stretch.
And you can easily, yeah. You know, I mean, Bleach kind of BS itself on that one. But, yeah. It's very good. It's a very good point to work from. And there's a lot of stories where you have just a lot of potential with after the end. I'm not going to say Naruto, because I know Naruto's not over yet, and by the time that it's over, I feel like it's going to be so horrible that nobody's going to want to write the end after the end.
Oh,
no,
that's
not
a
so much.
that's a real worry. That just
Yeah.
Naruto is going to dry up completely as a fucking
Yeah.
fandom because of this ending.
They're gonna end it
Same
with,
way
like,
that Bleach did.
No, I
You
think
have-
there are enough people that get into the series and never get that far that they just like the early stuff. Actually,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people have that opinion. They just Shippuden doesn't exist. It's all beginning.
Yeah, no one ever gets past the tuning exams and stuff. Yeah, it's weird how many fics stop there, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of I've seen some Harry Potter after the end fics, because it does give a defined ending for that series.
It does about 20 years after the actual story end, but
Yeah, but you know, if you want to, you can write from there. I mean, as long as the story gives a good ending, you can usually pick up from that.
that epilogue, dude, Jesus,
Yeah.
bad times were had by all.
In what series? My audio cut out for a second.
Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. I actually don't read post-DH fics at all.
Why would you?
Yeah, I don't either.
That's my opinion. They're
I've
all
seen a
terrible,
few.
seemingly.
I've seen a few, but I'm just saying it does give you some sort of workable structure, I guess.
That's the thing, though. It sort of does, but the world outside of Hogwarts is so thin. There's not a lot to work with as far as story elements go. You just
one-
have the characters, and that's about it.
Just one.
Not unless
thing
you
away from
essentially
it.
want to make it all up, yeah.
So you have the characters, and you have, hey, the Ministry is probably still corrupt. That's
It
about all you
probably
got.
still is. Yeah. Also, trying to think of other things for after the end. Gosh darn it. I've seen some after the end Persona fics. With Persona 4, after the end, I saw one where Yu Narukami goes to college.
I feel like we're thinking of the same one, but keep going.
I never
Can
actually
you,
got.
Can you repeat that? I just lost the last 10 seconds of audio. This is irritating. Sorry.
Persona 4 after the end, one where Yu Narukami goes to college. I think I read like the first
feel
chapter
I've
of that.
seen that.
Yeah.
I read like the first chapter of that and then immediately dropped it, but
You made the right call. I did not immediately drop it.
Is it?
You sound so excited.
No, it's not Welcome to Tokyo. That's something else.
Yeah, that was the other one. Blaze Hawkins wrote that and then dropped it. Not long after I did.
yeah, this one was.
The Answer, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
That does sound familiar, yeah.
Yeah.
For those that are wondering, that story eventually goes into a place... There is a pedophile in that story.
Alright.
He is basically an anti-villain in that story.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So, he's a bad guy, and yeah, he's a pretty bad guy, but he's supposed to be sort of helping the heroes. Sort of, kind of. Also, he targets Nanako. You know,
Lovely.
For extra shits and giggles. Yeah.
Why?
I don't think you can portray a pedophile as a anti-villain.
You cannot. They're some of the worst people. Like,
or
literally,
anything
like,
but a villain.
even in prison, people hate them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, if you, like, they are, no. You don't do that. I can see making a
I suppose
murderer.
it was just a story experiment on his part that didn't work out, and he
Making a thief a
killed his
relatable
interest in the story,
character
maybe.
is okay. Even making a murderer a relatable character, if the murder committed was for self-protection or protecting somebody else, even that can be, or even if it was just a mistake or if he regrets it, there's so many different crimes on the list that can be, that can give relatable characters. And he picked the one that you can never, ever, ever give to a person to make them relatable or likable or at all.
You can't really justify that. I mean,
Yeah, you can't.
But yeah. Incidentally, we might have just looped back onto Berserk button a little bit, but
I think so. Yeah.
Zero seems to have hit his somehow. But, yep. So,
After the
just
end.
gonna circle back to planning your fix and maybe having someone else look at it before you post it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Get someone to proofread, even if it's not, even if they don't do anything grammar-wise. Just them reading it is.
Yep. Or
good.
just run your ideas by people.
Yeah, dude, you know you have a pedophile in this story?
Hey, dude, why'd you put a pedophile in the story? I thought he'd be interesting and it would explore the relationship with... No.
Don't do that. You
No.
want to switch that to something else.
You want to change that right now. Or else I'll come to your house. I will find you.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
a long talk and I'm gonna invite Chris Hansen. Anyway. So yeah, after the end fix, make sure you got something to work off of. That's really
Yeah.
kind of fucking key. If you're gonna have a story
As
that
we
ends,
keep mentioning for almost every topic, really, you just think it through. Plan at least a little bit of it. And if you don't have anything,
Well,
maybe
not
consider
necessarily
one shot if
everything
you really
needs-
want
not everything needs planning in the beginning. Like we said, a lot of fanfiction, you have the framework already set out for you. You just need to, fill in the blanks a little bit and how you're going to change things. But after the end, it's all you. So you better have something to go off of. Or you are going to be done by the first chapter. Hey, you never know. Maybe that's your intention. Maybe you just want to write a one-shot and it's after the end and it's exploring some element of the plot that was maybe just not quite wrapped up properly. That's fine. Go for it. More power to you, in fact, because there's so many plot elements that just get ignored in a lot of stories. But something long-running, it's going to be a tough sell for after the end.
Yeah,
So-
a lot of after the end one shots are pretty damn good, but if they start getting into actual stories with meat, I don't know. Because it seems like the early chapters, like the first 2 or 3 chapters, is just, oh hi, this is novel. Look, everyone else after the story's over with, they're grown up, or it's 10 years later, or whatever, and then they got nothing after that. So they have no actual plot set out. They have no idea what the point of the story actually is from that point.
Yeah. Just to drag it back to Persona just for a second, because there was an anime that was pretty much that, 10 years later. Akihiko made a cameo. That was about all the connection it had to Persona.
Yay!
Wow.
He was a police
Oh,
officer.
you mean the Persona Trinity or whatever it was?
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
one.
Igor made a
Yeah.
cameo.
Yay, Eagle.
Yeah. They showed his nose and his face once, but mainly his nose.
Anyway, yeah. So there's almost nothing for the link dump in this episode. Let's. I guess we're done with that topic. The after the end thing. So we are at 1 hour and 45. So recommendations, because we have some. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Yeah, he can go first.
Alright.
Alright. Tricksters and Gods, a Harry Potter fic crossover with at first X-Men and then all of Marvel. It seems to keep branching out, but in a good way. It's after the events of the Avengers, Loki gets punished by being mind-wiped, basically, and sent to Earth as a human. And he is Harry, essentially. Some odd things happen with the Killing Curse when Voldemort attacks, and he grows up with echoes of memories, kind of, but they really don't affect a whole lot. They just make him more prone to mischief, I guess. And it's pretty good, actually. It's 17 chapters, it's 45,000 words. I don't know, I'm really liking it so far. It doesn't linger on anything. It does kind of assume you have seen Avengers and Daredevil, I think, and maybe one of the Blade movies.
Daredevil was a good film before anyone says otherwise.
It was, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Damn straight.
It was it doesn't really explain the setting super well. I mean, it doesn't just like outright assume you know exactly what's happening, but it doesn't go out of its way to explain it either.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All done.
Zero, you want to go next?
So, I'm gonna recommend the anime Aldnoah Zero.
You're gonna have to spell that.
I'm gonna. It's ALDNOAH 0.
Okay.
And so the premise behind this anime is that there was people who on Earth that went to live on Mars, and they found some advanced technology there, and they ended up moving to somewhere else. And
that one. Okay.
Yeah. And they recently came back, and there was and they wanted to take Earth back, and they took back their Mars planet. They're like, oh, why don't we take Earth too? And then they started a whole war, and then this is in a sort of a brief period of like time between the war, after the war, and everybody's just, it starts off kind of happy, and then lo and behold, war starts up again. And I really like them. Yeah?
The battles on that remind me a whole lot of early Code Geass, where Zero first appears and he's helping the rebels. Whatever. Anyway, it's a very one-sided battle, but intelligence kind of sees them through.
Yeah, because these so-called Martians have really advanced technology, like really advanced mechs and stuff that they cannot normally like defeat like head-on. So the main character is a really like calm, intelligent type of character who's really awesome. I really like it. You gotta beat these guys with planning and using your resources available, rather than just running at them and defeating them through the power of friendship and strength of will.
Also,
it's always nice.
You remember when we were talking about running gags?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken liked it. Hey. Ken, you want to go next?
Alright, yeah. Mine is probably not reaching very far because it was written by Gabriel Blessing, who's kind of big name, super big name. The one I was going to recommend something else, but I decided to switch it over to something else he wrote. My recommendation is Hill of Swords, which is a Fate Stay Night and Familiar Zero crossover. Luis summons Shiro, and things ensue. It's after the Grail War and all that stuff.
Which one?
So
Which ending, rather?
I don't know which ending because I didn't play it. I've basically most of the stuff I know from it is from fan fiction stuff. So I don't know which
Okay,
ending it was.
generally speaking, you can figure it out by pairing. Did he end up with Saber or Rin or
Saber.
Saber? Okay, it was the Fate ending. Okay.
All right, and
Yeah, he does mention it in the credits. It's just kind of hard to understand because if you've never seen it, I've never seen Fate Zero, or not Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, like Ken did. So that was kind of confusing. I didn't understand the routes.
Yeah, there's 3 routes. One of them, he ends up with Saber and he dies, and there's a weird sort of destiny bond thing going on, but he ends up with Saber. Then there's one where he ends up with Saber and Rin. Rin decides to start a harem that includes Saber and Shiro, and they go to the clock tower, and eventually they probably get killed. And then there's the other one, I forget a lot of what happens in it.
Well, there's two endings for every single route. There's the good ending and the true ending.
Oh, well.
And they don't get killed in the Rin route, but then there's the soccer route, and in one he survives, but has to get basically a body that's like a sort of a magical puppet, I guess you'd say. Sort of has to get this, artificial body. The other one, he doesn't get anything. He kind of dies.
Yeah.
He sacrifices himself and saves everything. Yay.
Yeah, he pretty much does die in the Rin route. Well, it's ambiguous, but basically Rin ends up working at the clock tower, Shiro ends up as her apprentice, sort of, I think. And then they get discovered as Shiro having the fucking... I forget what it's called, the super ability that he has. Hill of Blades and all that stuff. And the Bone of My Sword and all that stuff. Yeah, that. And since that's a super rare thing, and he's not supposed to have it, and they want to research him, he gets a sealing designation, and they run for it, and Shiro stops to hold off the pursuers and stuff. And that's about all you know.
Yeah, that's only one ending, though. There are literally like 6 endings.
Yeah.
So.
The universe kind of sucks. I mean, canon material for that,
yeah,
it's almost never happy.
Bleak as fuck.
Yeah. It's always pretty bad, actually.
I will second that fic, though. I've read it twice, and both times have been enjoyable. I'm not usually somebody to read something twice, or even 3 times, but
I think most people on this podcast want people to read something that's based on Familiar of Zero, but okay.
No, actually, as long as it's a crossover, I really enjoy that series. Or something completely different, like Black Devil Dog, I think it was, where he was just outright part of the military.
I would like to thank you for introducing me to that, because I like that story.
I also still want to second the fucking 0 for 0 one, which is 0 for Borderlands.
0-0.
Yeah.
It's the fucking smiley face
to be
when he kills people.
It's great. Gives him like a 0 or a what did you give the one guy? A 0.4?
Yeah. 0's great.
Yeah, that's right. 0 is great.
Is it weird that I can't pick any other character in Borderlands 2 other than 0? I've tried. I've tried to pick the Siren. I've tried to pick Commando. I can't.
I always pick Gage.
I always pick 0.
I always pick the Commando, so I feel the exact same way, but with a different character.
Yeah. Also, 0, I never actually think about you as 0 when I try to talk to you. I always end up using your first name in my head. Sorry.
That's weird.
My first name.
Then again, I've never associated people with their names. Even people I know in real life, they're the username online.
Is Slicer secretly an artificial intelligence?
Sure.
Is he secretly an AI?
What does the A stand for?
We're not doing that again.
I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. Anyway, so Ken recommended Tale of Swords, yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. My
I like
recommendations, plural, is Watsky's new album, All You Can Do, is pretty fucking awesome.
I'll link that.
Enough said. It's, Pale Guy Raps Fast, or something, from YouTube. It was a big viral thing. White guy, rapper, actual poetry champion, now I think about it, but yeah. Yeah, and it's his 4th album, I think. And it's pretty damn good. Got some fun tracks on it, got some kind of depressing tracks on it, like one about dependency on medication, like antidepressants and stuff. Yeah. And also a nice twist on the whole bragging bullshit that you see a lot in rap. Yeah, it's good stuff. Definitely worth a listen at the very least. Because he has skill. Like the Pale Kid Raps Fast thing, Pale Kid raps fast. So, he also played, if you've seen Epic Rap Battles, he played Shakespeare, he played the Fourth Doctor, and he played... who was the recent one? Edgar Allan Poe in the new series.
Huh, cool.
So, yeah. Cool dude as well. And my other recommendation, which is actually a story, like it should be, hang on, is The Makings of a Legend. Just typing it. And this is a Buffy and Game of Thrones crossover story. Xander from Buffy gets killed, I think, at a young-ish age. I'm pretty sure it's after the end of canon, but, you know, and gets sent to the Game of Thrones world because reasons. And it's
that
about...
don't matter, pretty much. I mean...
that more or less don't matter, but, you know, powers that be is the big thing in the... Sorry, my phone just went. In Buffy, so... random omnipotent bastard just deciding to do something for funsies is something that could definitely happen in that universe. So... he's in Game of Thrones world. It's about... 15 years, something like that, before canon events, because it's before Jon Snow is born. And Xander decides to ally with the Targaryens. A little bit. Not sure whether anyone's actually seen the show or read the books, but
Nope.
That's kind of a big deal, because in canon, around the time that Xander shows up is when a big rebellion shows up and decides to, you know, depose the Targaryens, who are the ruling family. Because their monarch happens to be certifiably insane and tries to burn his own city to the ground. Yeah. So, it's actually pretty well put together as far as the political relationships and everything is done. Xander, with his knowledge from the future and military tactics from when he was sort of kind of a soldier, is put to good use and makes probably the most effective, if, you know, small numerically, fighting force that is existing currently in the Game of Thrones universe. And gets the moniker Lord of Soldiers, not actually a title, and is considered a badass. Pretty cool. Then shit happens.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty cool, but not good or happy for anyone, really. So,
standard Game of Thrones stuff happens.
Pretty much. Though things might be going slightly better for the characters that you like in Game of Thrones. Slightly.
I have a feeling that's usually the case for a lot of fanfiction of Game of Thrones.
But you'll find a lot
That,
of
or
good
it's the
fanfiction for
opposite.
Game of Thrones includes the slightly bit. The bad stuff just
Yeah.
removes that entirely.
Hmm.
So it keeps to the tone pretty well. All the characters you like get really shitty end of the stick.
Yay!
Yay! So, that's my recommendation. It's a fun story. People should check it out. It's not very long so far, but it's not long started, so it's good stuff. Anybody got any more recommendations before we close this thing out?
Let me check real quick. No, I got nothing. I've been mostly doing the job stuff and Demon Souls, so I haven't actually read a whole lot this week.
I'm gonna quick recommend just one last thing. It's a manga. It's only got 2 chapters out right now. It's called Tate no Yusha no Narigari. Narigari, whatever.
Because
I can't
totally
say it.
spell that.
I'm going to link it.
I'm going to guess that that's correct. And I'm going to Google it.
And
I was so close.
but basically, it's a guy from our world is summoned to a world where there's heroes, right? And there's 4 legendary heroes, and he gets stuck with as the hero of the shield,
Oh.
which means his defense is absolutely nothing, or his defense is absolutely everything, but his offense is absolutely nothing. Literally no offense.
Oh.
I think he's just being a whiner. Goofy made it work.
It's true.
No, but like basically.
Sorry.
Basically, he gets framed for a crime he didn't commit, and is pretty much kicked out of the kingdom, sort of, or kicked out of the main capital, and everybody's like, you're no hero, you're just, a criminal. And so he turns dark pretty quickly. And he finds out that his shield can actually change depending on what material he feeds it. Which is a really interesting type mechanic. So if you were to feed it, like, say, like the materials you get from a boss, then it would gain, like, maybe some abilities to actually deal some damage. But there's this ongoing gag where the low-level, like, demons can't kill him. Like, their attacks literally do nothing. So in order to, like, make sure people don't mess with him, he's got, like, a bunch of them, like, biting on his legs and arms, and, like, his sides underneath his cloak. So people mess with him, he just opens his cloak, and he has, like, all these, like, little monsters, like, just throws them at him.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's great. So I'm enjoying it. It's only 2 chapters long, but, and it updates monthly, but it's gonna be good.
Monthly's a bit harsh, but yeah. Sounds fun.
Just like every now and then, it's a little joy. Alright.
Now that you've said that, I kind of wish there was more Priscilla, but there isn't.
I wish there was. I got to Priscilla in Dark Souls, and I didn't kill her this time, and
Yes!
I felt good about myself. I just like kind of walked up to her and was like, "Hi, Priscilla, Dovahkiin, this is funny." And she's like, "You have to go," and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
okay."
The inexplicably fluffy dragon lady will live on forever.
Gosh darn it. I feel bad for that area. I feel bad for killing I feel bad for killing Quilog in Dark Souls for Spider Lady.
It kind of sucks. You need to kill her. She's not optional.
Yeah, I saw that video that was in your feed, Slicer, of how she was supposed to be like the Covenant leader for Chaos Servants or whatever.
I feel bad for, like, most of the people you have to kill in Dark Souls.
Except for Ornstein. Not Ornstein, Smaug.
Yeah, fuck him.
Smaug is a dick.
Fuck both of them, actually.
Well, look at it this way.
Ornstein's pretty cool.
Look at it this way.
Ornstein's pretty cool.
The Dark Souls world sucks, so you're sending them to a better place.
somewhere
Yeah.
that isn't in Dark Souls. Yeah.
I killed.
That's one
killed
way to
the
look
track.
at it. I grant you
killed
the
the
mercy of death.
Like,
Go ahead, Zero.
in that game, I killed Lautrec the moment I saw him,
Good man.
and so yeah, there we go. I felt good about myself. So yeah, that's it for recommendations.
There's a guy in Tumblr that didn't do that, and it was really funny hearing him talk about it. It's like I just got back from Blighttown and the person's dead. I don't know
Yep.
what to do.
Yep. I saw that coming, but it just came up at a really inconvenient time.
Yeah, when that happened though, like when that went out, I just used the one over near the blacksmith
Yeah.
because I already improved that to 20. Anyways, we should end this now.
We should, yes. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 48. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so through the Blogspot page, the comments, or our own personal profiles on fanfiction.net, or through the YouTube channel through the comments. Once again, I would like to thank everybody for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 48. Bye now.
Bye.
We will try to keep up on the questions better. It seems we missed a few things, so yeah, we'll keep a closer eye on that. Didn't we miss questions on the blogspot or did we? Oh, all right. Well,